Hey Hools, welcome back to Spicy Reddit Stories. It's been a minute since we've last seen each other. You look good. Let's get right into it. Am I the weenie for not allowing my ex-maid of honor to be a bridesmaid? Quick backstory. My fiance, male 33, and I, female 29, are getting married in September 2026. Our friends, they list out fake names, Stan and Zoe, just got married in May of 2025. We asked Stan and Zoe to be our best man and maid of honor. They both said yes. In June, my maid of honor calls and says she can't be my maid of honor anymore due to some health issues. Also, she has to avoid stress and isn't sure if she'd be able to handle the wedding planning and her own medical bills. Understandable. Completely understandable. I tell her that if she wants to be included still or be a bridesmaid, to keep me posted. August 7th. I ask my sister to be my new maid of honor. The end of August, I check in with Zoe. She responds with, "The procedure went well, and I'm still waiting on the official results, but the nurse said things looked good, so I'm optimistic." I heard nothing after that, and got my last bridesmaid in September. Whew, all right. Digging ourselves a massive grave here. November 4th, Stan and Zoe reach out asking if Zoe is a bridesmaid. I said, "I already have my bridal party. We wanted you to take a break for your health. You're more than invited to all the events, so you can just have fun and don't have to worry about planning." Zoe's response: "While I appreciate you considering my health, I'm extremely hurt that you couldn't just text me. I don't even know how to process our relationship. I would have never have done this to you." My fiance says the four of us need to meet up to discuss this. Yeah, you think? We wanted to talk in person. Stan argues that they want to talk over the phone. Oh my God. We live in the same neighborhood and pass their house every morning to take our dog on a walk. Oh my God, this is painful. Finally, Stan responds by saying, "You don't see just how hurt Zoe and I are by all of this. We've decided to cut ties with both of you. We have not spoken since. Am I the weenie?" Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. OP barely communicates with Zoe and Stan over the course of 2 months. And over the course of those 2 months, OP, did you even check in with Zoe about her health issues except for that one time? Taking this story at face value, as someone used to tell me, it doesn't seem like you care all that much about Zoe's health issues. Like, this whole entire situation just screams that OP is a bridezilla. Having the attitude of like, this is my day, and anybody else who isn't on the same freaking agenda as me can kick rocks. Also, I can't get over the fact that you stated clearly in parentheses that you walk by their house every day. The opportunity is literally right there every single day for 2 months, and you don't take advantage of it. What are we doing? I'd like to imagine that Stan sees her walk by every day, and he's just peeking out of the blinds. It's the 13th day she's walked by our house. Why do you have to be such a fucking bitch? Also, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but I don't think that there is a limit to the amount of bridesmaids that one can have in a wedding. I mean, like, don't have 100 bridesmaids, but you could have just asked before you got the last one. Anyway, OP, you are absolutely the weenie, and I hope your wedding sucks. Was that too harsh? I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter because OP deleted their account, it seems. So the story isn't real, everyone. It doesn't exist. Would I be the weenie if I don't attend my friend's baby shower because they said my pregnancy was an accident and that I didn't deserve it? When I was pregnant with my first child 2 years ago, I had a really heavy feeling that I had to keep my pregnancy journey quite discreet because of my two friends. They had difficulties with infertility. When my fiance and I were expecting, it was obvious that they were hurt and that after each encounter with us, they would cry themselves to sleep. So whenever we were together, I wouldn't bring up the pregnancy or even all of the new great thrills I was living. I don't have many friends, so it hurt me inside a lot to not be able to appreciate the moment as much, but I didn't want to hurt them just because the baby was existing inside me. But they talked to other friends of ours and said awful things, such as, quote, "The child was an accident. They don't deserve a child as much as us." Parentheses, I literally waited my entire life just to begin my own family since mine was broken since even before my birth. I remember to cry myself to sleep several times thinking about them because I always daydreamed about our children growing up together. Bro, that's so freaking sad. I always tried to calm my fiance down by telling him that they're hurt and they don't actually mean it, but it still hurt. And once confronted, they still didn't actually apologize. I don't forget. Oh, okay. When we introduced our baby to our friend group for the first time, they never acknowledged it. Not even a hello, baby. They just straight up acted as if it never existed. Oh, God, I hate people. That night, I cried again. The next time, they brought a gift, but they never actually said sorry. Anyway, now the couple are expecting. Maybe twins. They had an insemination. They told us first. I hugged them, gave them a small gift I've prepared for this day. Baby clothes and stuff, because I consider myself their friend and congratulated them. See, now that's how you do it. That's how friends do it. Now I have this sinking feeling inside because all things I didn't get to do wholeheartedly because it was hurting them, they'll celebrate it publicly and loudly. And OP goes on to say they love to show themselves. Of course they do. This couple screams that. I know that it's my fault for not celebrating as much as I should have, but they were really hurt, and it hurt me just as much. So now I'm thinking about not going to their baby shower when it's going to come up, not out of a petty move, but because I'll be extremely hurt. I've learned to stand a bit more on my ground, so I know that I'll tell them my reasons one way or another, but I feel bad because I'm supposed to support them as a friend. So, would I be the weenie if I don't attend their baby shower? Nuh-uh. That's so shitty that you have people in your life, bitter, sad people at that. And I'm not even going to call them your friends because, OP, I'm going to, newsflash, those types of people that talk like that and treat you like that and talk behind your back to your friends, saying really hurtful things like, they don't deserve a child, their child is a mistake. Not the type of people you want as friends. I feel awful that OP expressed how they had always daydreamed that their kids would grow up together. Like, that's so sweet, and for it to just be ripped from her because you have terrible friends who talk shit about you and your child. Ugh, like you cried yourself to sleep multiple times. And sure, they did too. But you weren't the one saying mean things about them. You weren't going around saying, they can't have kids. What is Jack's dick broken? Like, God. I'm sure that if they do have twins, they're going to be using that as a one-up on you. And that is such childish behavior. I don't know, maybe sneakily adopt their kids somehow so they don't have to end up with such terrible, pathetic wastes of space. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't say that OP should kidnap their kids. Like, that's sneakily adopting someone is the polite way of saying to kidnap. Hey everyone, so I don't know how this happened, but when I was editing this, I realized that I completely forgot to read the last part of the story, which was a little bit of an update. So I'm going to read it for you now. Little post-production. Not actually an update, but I wanted to thank everyone commenting. I really didn't expect this much attention. Well, sorry, you're about to get a little bit more. I actually cried reading all your comments, and I told my fiance that I won't go to their baby shower, and he's 1000% on my side. I know that we'll be able to tell them our reasons of why, and that it's totally justified. But I also know that it's not going to be easy. As one of you said, they will try and say that we can't be happy for them to our other friends, which is so stupid. I won't ghost them, but I definitely won't be as present for them. My fiance and I already know that they'll compare their children with ours, with even everyday accomplishments. They actually already do it with us, buying a house, new car, renovations, etc. Oh my God, this couple stinks. My fiance made the effort to keep a relationship with them, for me. He's deeply hurt by the situation, but unlike me, he isn't a people pleaser, I guess. I'm truly grateful to have him. Our first year with baby sure wasn't easy, but he was way more supportive than I could have hoped for. Okay, can I be vulnerable for a minute? Can I just be so bold to be vulnerable on the internet for just 1 minute? Over the years, I have worked really hard on people pleasing, and it's something that I still struggle with to this day. So I can completely relate to this situation in some ways. I'm not having a baby, but I hope OP works on the power of saying no. It's powerful. No doesn't have to be negative. Can we write that on a t-shirt somewhere? No doesn't. See, it's already gone. I'm terrible at this. I know that you're all right about leaving them behind and understand that they're not my friends, but it's truly hard to tell myself that after having a hard time making some. But I really do know that my family and my own self comes first. I'm just heartbroken. But thank you again for your comments, and I really wish for you all a beautiful life. Thank you, OP. I wish you a beautiful life as well. Everyone deserves a beautiful life, except for some people. Listen, as I've gotten older, it really is hard to make friends the more you progress through your life. So I understand being very apprehensive to not want to break up this social dynamic because it is hard out here. I'm rooting for you, is what I'm saying. I'm rooting for all of you. And I'm rooting for OP. Not the weenie. Let's move on. Am I the weenie for telling my brother that the day he was born was the worst day of my life? Oh, I'm already gonna go and say yeah, probably. But let's take a look at the context. I, female, was born in 1962 in a rural area before ultrasound machines were everywhere, and the nearest town was not that close to us, and babies were born at home and delivered by the same midwife. So when I was 7, my mother got pregnant with twins and had no idea she was carrying 2 babies, and the midwife, who had just delivered the first baby and probably did not realize there was one more to come, had to be immediately driven by my father to another farm where she was needed, which means that when my mother's contractions started again, I was then alone in a farm with her and the first newborn baby, and it was up to me to deliver my youngest brother with my mother instructing me. This was hands down the worst and scariest moment of my life because I feared both my mother and the baby wouldn't make it. Well, thankfully it all worked out. Now here's what happened. My husband and I were celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary, and we had a party and people were making speeches and talking about us. But when the mic got to my brother, who of course has no firsthand memory of his own birth and only knows what he was told about it, he took the chance to tell this story as if it was a fun anecdote. And then my dad got home and there were 2 babies instead of 1. So funny. Anyways, thanks sis for helping me come into this world. And everybody thought it was fun and sweet, but to me, it was the opposite. It brought back some memories that are not at all positive to me. My mood completely shifted after that. And I think my brother noticed at once because he came to talk to me afterwards and asked if he had said something wrong. And then I told him this is not a funny story to me and that the day he was born was indeed the worst day of my life. And not something I'd like to think back in a happy moment celebrating my marriage. He then went quiet and said, "Wow, I was trying to honor you, and that's how you thought of my speech?" The thing is, I wasn't saying that by him being born was a bad thing. I love my brother. It was just that the circumstances of his birth made the occasion traumatic for me, and that he should know better than talking about it as a, quote, fun fact if he had not put himself in my shoes. But now I think I should have kept quiet and said nothing. Either it bothered me or not. Okay, OP, so you really could have worded that a lot better than you did. Sure, of course, being tasked with delivering your baby brother at 7 years old at home, not in a hospital or anything like that, has to be 100% one of the most traumatic experiences of your life. If I had to deliver one of my siblings, I would have had to deliver my eyeballs after that. All right, so OP here has responded to a couple comments. She says that she never talked to her brother about it. It was just a story that the family told. And the same commenter asked if OP recalls anybody in the family telling the story, describing it as traumatic. And OP replied saying, "Our parents were not really the sort of people who would even talk about it as a traumatic experience. My mother used to talk about it as some sort of God's miracle." Well, there you go. I get that OP didn't mean to say it that way, but they did. They did. However, given the context of this story and the way that you described this, yeah, you're a weenie. Now, sit down with your brother and have a long, uncomfortable talk. Am I the weenie for saying I didn't sign up to live with a third person? I moved in with my roommate because we agreed it would just be the two of us. At first, everything was fine. We split bills, respected each other's space, and kept things peaceful. Then, she started bringing her friend over. That's how it starts, and that's how it ends. Slippery slope. At first, it was just weekends, which I didn't mind, but slowly, it turned into weekdays too. And now her friend is here almost every day, like she lives with us. She's in the kitchen when I wake up, in the living room when I get home, and sometimes using things without asking. Bro, this is my own personal hell. They stay up late laughing when I have work early, groceries disappear faster, and the place gets messier. I started feeling like a guest in my own apartment and staying in my room just to avoid them. When I finally brought it up, my roommate said I was overreacting and it's just a friend visiting. I told her I didn't sign up to live with a third person, and now things are tense between us. Am I the weenie here? No! Listen, I am a very patient person. I think that I'm a very kind person. I don't know, maybe sneakily adopt their kids somehow so they don't have to end up with such terrible, pathetic wastes of space. Pathetic wastes of space. But if I had to come back after a long shift at work and my roommate's friend is just all up in my shit, I'd be like, so, when's Jenny helping out with rent? I don't know. I just can't fathom being so disrespectful to a person's living space and I don't even live there. The late night laughing while I'm trying to get to sleep and I have a morning shift the next day, just in the other room. And also, your roommate saying that it's just a friend visiting. It's not just a friend visiting, bestie. At this point, you got a third roommate. You are the furthest thing from a weenie. Does this person not have a place of their own? What I would do is I would sit down, if you haven't already, sit down with your roommate, talk to them about this whole situation, and if you're going to a compromise, maybe just be like, if they have a place that they can go spend more time over there. You shouldn't be made to feel like you're a guest in your own house that you pay for. Fuck that. Would I be the weenie for making my home gluten-free? I, 33 female, was diagnosed with celiac disease in 2020. I'm extremely sensitive to gluten. I always have to be vigilant to not contaminate my food or space, as coming into contact with gluten, whether ingesting or even touching it, will cause me to get extremely sick sometimes, to the point of not being able to work. It also causes migraines that last for days, painful rashes on my skin, blisters in and around my mouth, my lips to swell to the point of tearing, brain fog, even hair loss. Always having to be alert and aware about my food and cross-contamination is stressful, and I'm always anxious about food to the point of needing medication. That is awful. My heart goes out to anyone that has a food allergy. Just saying straight up. It sucks. My husband, 35 male, is not gluten-free, but knows quite a bit about celiac and gluten and makes a decent effort to avoid glutening me, such as not kissing me after he eats. Our cats are also gluten-free because I've had reactions from them licking me right after eating gluten food. Bro, imagine just laying on your bed or on the couch and just nonchalantly just petting your cat, and then all of a sudden just turning into stone. Right now, we have different color pans and utensils for gluten-free food and gluten food. I do the majority of the cooking and rarely cook gluten foods, as making multiple meals at once is irritating. I would love it if my home was one place I didn't have to worry about gluten, cross-contamination, or getting sick. Essentially, I want our home to be gluten-free. If my husband or his kids from a previous relationship want gluten, they can go out to eat. I brought this up to multiple people in both my family and his, and I'm being told it's not fair to force everyone in our home to eat like I have, to when I'm the only one who has to avoid gluten. Oh, screw that, man. Screw that. That's just inconsiderate. I've also been told that I'm being dramatic, controlling, and just want everyone around me to suffer. The lack of empathy, the hope that I have for humanity is being sucked out of my vocal cords. Some family members that visit regularly, I could see bringing gluten snacks into our house after we ask them not to, in the spirit of helping, because it's someone's favorite snack and they just wanted to be nice. My husband hasn't really given me his opinion one way or the other, and I brought it up several times. I feel like if I had a nut allergy, I wouldn't be told I'm being ridiculous or controlling for wanting a nut-free home. If one of the kids was the only one in the house with celiac, I think everyone would agree going gluten-free is a no-brainer. Realistically, I wouldn't make it a sudden change. Just slowly phase gluten out of the house over the next few months. I'm exhausted and just want one safe space where I don't have to worry about making myself sick on accident. Would I be the weenie for making my home 100% gluten-free when I'm the only one with celiac disease? Listen, I love food. Y'all know that. My heart breaks for anybody that has a food allergy. Severe, medium levels of severe, any type of food allergy where you cannot have a certain type of food. That makes me sad. I don't particularly have any food allergies. But I will go out of my way to make sure that anybody that's around me that has a food allergy is safe, comfortable, and has exactly what they need or lack thereof in their general area so that they don't have an allergic reaction. That being said, with how severe OP's symptoms get when touched by gluten, ingesting gluten, there's like no debate that the house should be 100% gluten-free. You're not the weenie OP. And the thing that boggles my mind is, how does the husband have like little to no opinion about this? Girl, we need to find your husband and pick him up off the ground and find his spine. She even gave you the option that if you feel like you need to consume gluten, I get it. As an avid gluten lover, connoisseur, it's not that difficult to remove yourself from the surrounding area. It's not that hard to just go out. As someone that grew up being constantly told fast food's bad for you, and then as soon as I got a car, I would go to like Taco Bell or McDonald's or Burger King or something or KFC and eat in the parking lot out of shame for my parents. Trust me, I can do it again. If I lived or dated somebody that had celiac, it would be so easy for me to just go eat gluten somewhere else. Why is it so hard for you? Nobody seems to respect her because basically the allergy doesn't kill her like a nut allergy would. All right now.
Stop. What are you doing? Get that off of me.
There.
No, stop.
Why are you crying?
You're killing me.
Shut up. Not the weenie. All right, our final story here. Am I the weenie for not wearing pants to a party? I, a 21 male, am a college student. I'm in a frat and I'm gay. It's not a conservative group. Parentheses, no one's ever given me shit for it, but I'm the only one. Hey man, we love inclusivity, but I'm kind of not the biggest fan of frats. Every year my college has a date party to celebrate the end of finals. I didn't pick the theme. It's split a suit. Basically, take the components of a suit and you have to divide that amongst you and your date. That sounds like a lot of fun. I saw the writing on the wall. A lot of guys being shirtless with blazers and suit pants, and a lot of girls in oversized dress shirts and ties with no pants. The issue was that didn't apply to me. I ended up asking a guy from my class I've been casually talking to as a first time hanging out situation. Don't worry, he's gay too. I'm not delusional. I'm sorry, I don't know why I thought that was so funny. He just had to make sure that we knew. I asked him what he felt comfortable wearing, and he said he prefers to be dressed, so I told him he could do the dress shirt and pants, and I'd be fine with the remainder. So basically, I wore a blazer, was shirtless with a tie, and had on boxer briefs, which to me is on theme. None of the guys had an issue, but a friend's girlfriend came up to me and said that it was inappropriate and I was making the girls uncomfortable. I felt embarrassed, so my date and I left. My date said I had misled him on what the party would be like, and I was a weenie for not dressing appropriately. Now I feel like a jerk. Am I the weenie? So it sounds like your fraternity brothers invited a bunch of losers. Now, listen, I can understand with how your stereotypical frat bro is that at these kinds of parties, the girls would gonna want to be careful about who they mingle with, you know? But the theme of the frickin' party is split a suit. The way that OP described the way that him and his date were dressed, that sounds like exactly what the point of the theme was. Maybe it's just me, because I love committing to a bit. And this is a fantastic bit. It's creative, it's funny, and it matches the theme. Why did none of the other guys defend unless like it was one of those situations where, you know, it's like that meme, you know, where all the girls are staring at the camera and they're all uncomfortable. Like, unless OP was just so embarrassed in the moment that that him and his date had to jump out of the bathroom window. Been there. As for OP's date saying that he was misled, nah, man, you weren't misled. You just went to a party where it's illegal to be creative and have fun. Not the weenie. Also, speaking of fraternities, did you guys hear about the recent police body cam footage that got released to the public? It was at Iowa State University. So if you guys don't know about this situation, let me fill you in real quick before we end this video. So recent police body cam footage surfaced where officers and firefighters responded to a fire alarm at the Alpha Phi Delta fraternity. When the firefighters searched the basement, they found dozens of pledges being hazed in this friggin' basement. Like, at one point, like, they're asking them questions, and they're just standing there in silence.
What's all over you guys?
Like, this is some kind of... It looks creepy. If you have no prior context, it looks creepy. If I had ever gone away to college, I would have never joined a fraternity. I don't know. Do I give off frat bro material to you guys? Do I? While I'm sure that there are good fraternities and sororities that do a lot to help their communities and are a very positive influence on the young people that join them, media often portrays sororities and fraternities like cults. And stuff like this isn't really helping their cause. There have been plenty of news stories where hazing rituals have led to people getting hurt, or even worse, people dying. You know, it also makes me a little uneasy to think that a lot of these people go on to become doctors, lawyers, rocket scientists, Chick-fil-A workers. God forbid they join law enforcement. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you like this video, and stay away from cults. I mean, fraternities.